You want to cut a check?
No.
I'm trying to get him to
Listen,
cut a check.
I will cut a check if she changes her name to Eye Candy instead of Ear Candy. I'm Marcus Lemonis from CNBC's The Prophet, and I'm here with Renata Romaine, and we're watching
Renata Romaine.
Eye Candy.
TV.
You're now checking out Renata Romaine.
I used to watch that show that comes on beforehand. We don't have to name the
It's a good show, Shark Tank.
Love it.
It's
yes.
a good show.
Okay. Didn't know if there was any CNBC
listen,
beef there.
No, there's good actors on the show.
Oh, actors.
And so it's fine.
Was that a read, Marcus?
No, I'm just saying listen, if you want to get into a studio and sit in a chair and tell people how wonderful you are and how not wonderful they are, then it's a great show.
You fix failing businesses, but it's more than just about the money. It seems as if it's about something much greater, like you're changing lives.
It's Oprah meets Home Depot meets the bank.
Yeah.
It's kind of all those into one.
Yes.
And it works out great. And I think the difference is, at least for people that watch it, is we really do spend a lot of time talking about the people. And you have a woman in the episode you saw who really was down on her luck and thought she was going to lose everything and couldn't pay her bills. And I think what people in this country really want to see is they want to see tough love. They want to learn, but they also want to see other people get a break.
Yes.
And I think too often we try to have other shows out there where we throw paint on the wall or we yell, we throw pots and pans. We offer them $100,000 and we tell them how stupid their idea is. But we try on our show really to be humane and to really kind of get down to the level that those people are at.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's one thing that I just don't understand about what you do, though. You do business on a handshake. Marcus, I would not trust some folks with my dog on a handshake. Like, have you gotten burned that way?
I have. But I liken it to, let's say you and I date for a while, right?
Okay.
And is that a possibility?
I like that idea.
And so, and then you break my heart, which is probably going to happen. And then I take that experience and I now say all women are going to do that. So I kind of take that same philosophy to business, that if you do a deal with one bad person,
right,
you shouldn't really ruin it for everybody else. And so if he could do a deal on a handshake and he's good for it,
right, then
that should be a good experience. And I always liken the handshake to the preview of the movie. If you can't honor the handshake, what do you think paper's really going to do?
So let me ask you, because you write some pretty big checks, and I like firm handshakes. Mm-hmm. So what happens when you shake the hand of someone and it's some flimsy old handshake and they seem like if they're flaky, if you can't trust them, but you already shook their hand? Do you take the check back?
No, I don't really go by people's hands. I go by their eyes. And so I think what ends up happening is I give people the benefit of the doubt that they're nervous. They don't really know their place. And so I don't read a lot into that. What I read a lot into is what's their behavior like after. And a lot of times people are desperate before you give them the check, and they'll tell you anything you want to hear. They'll tell you how wonderful you are, how they're going to listen. They get the check and all of a sudden they have amnesia. And that's a big challenge. And I think at the end of the day, you'll see an episode that we did in Queens. In fact, my team was involved in it, where a guy took my money and he literally just took it out of the account.
No way.
Mm-hmm. I bought things, assets, printers and stuff for them, and they just sold them.
What?
Mm-hmm. And so...
And you can't sue him or anything?
I mean, what am I going to do?
So wait a minute. So you have money to burn. You have money...
I don't have money to burn, and I take it very seriously. I mean, I work hard just like you do for your money.
Yeah.
But I do believe that people are typically good people. But you're going to find out that there are people that are not a lot of good people.
Yeah.
My mother, who passed away a couple of years ago, would roll her eyes and say, most people are great people, but there are people who are giant, not so good people.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of just be open-minded about it.
What are my eyes telling you right now?
That you love living in Manhattan. You got a great show. You're making good money. And that you're thinking that dating me is a potential possibility.
The American Dream. I did a show on this a couple of months ago, and the Washington Post had an article called "Inequality Starts in the Crib," and pretty much it was saying how some people, when you are born, you are set up to not be successful. So I posed the question: when it comes to opportunities, wealth, prosperity, and success, is it an even playing field?
Well, I'm really frustrated that people keep making wealth kind of the determiner whether the American dream is right? So to me, the American dream in the 1990s and maybe even in the early 2000s was Miami Vice, Don Johnson, fast boats, tubs, big houses.
Dynasty.
Yeah, LeBron
Dallas.
James, the whole deal. I mean, it was crazy. And I think all of us got a wake-up call in 2008 and 9.
I did.
When we all thought we're going to lose everything. I mean, there was days I would go home and I would say, man, this is it.
Yeah.
And so the American dream really has to be redefined, that if you can, have only 187 payments left to own your house, and you have maybe only 40 payments left to own your car, but it's on time, and your kids are getting to school, public or private, bills are paid, and you have food in the refrigerator and a nice dog and a neighbor and all that. I mean, isn't the American dream really just isn't that enough? It's too much about wealth. And I think that's one of the things that we really try to do on the show. Right. Is to not make it about money. Yeah, there's money. Of course, the business needs money to function.
Right.
But it isn't about I have to get 85% and what's this value and the return. It's let's just get back to basics.
Well, see, because I think society, though, makes it about everything else. You listen to a typical hip-hop song, it's about flossing. It's about,
But it isn't even just hip-hop songs. I mean, you can watch any movie, any television show, listen to any song about anything.
Absolutely.
And you gotta have a plane and a car, and you gotta be. And I think it's fun and it's kind of exciting to look at and laugh about. But how obtainable is that really?
Yeah.
To most people, and I remember growing up in
Lebanon.
And I was born in Lebanon, yeah. But I grew up in Miami, 305.
Okay. Shout out to the 305.
A Miami Hurricane fan. And I remember kind of thinking to myself that having money is nice.
Yeah.
And it's second to whatever's first, but it still is better just to know that, you got a car and you could pay for your gas. And people laugh at me when I say that. I said, but isn't it really that simple?
Yeah.
Because more people struggle than prosper.
Right.
Right.
Well, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, but I've been very blessed, and I'm a pretty religious guy, and I really believe that God put me on this earth to do one thing, and that's really to give people a shot. Wow. I had a terrible childhood. I was bullied. I was fat.
You were adopted.
I was adopted, which wasn't a bad thing. I was molested as a kid.
Oh no!
Just a bad childhood.
So you were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
I was born with my dad's foot up my ass.
Oof.
So tough love, hard work ethic. And I think the reason that people kind of like the show is that they really feel like when I go in, I'm really kind of with everybody working, whether it's cleaning toilets or mopping stuff or doing whatever it is.
Yes.
Because I think the people that work there really want to know that they can look at somebody and say, we're different, but we are the same.
You're not just cutting a check and disappearing.
No.
You are very much involved in the process.
I think that's if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to buy stock. And I don't own any stock in any company in the United States today.
And that is what makes The Profit so different from any other show that is on television right now. What makes an entrepreneur? What are the characteristics? Because you have people that might want to go into business for themselves. And you brought up the economy earlier. I think one of the good things about 2008 when the economy crashed was it forced many of us to go that route into business for ourselves.
I tell you the thing that I laugh about, and you can appreciate this, how many people you meet at a party or at a restaurant that tell you they're entrepreneurs. And in the past, I used to say, now, does that mean you don't work? And so an entrepreneur to me is kind of a nonsensical word. You're either a business owner or you are a team member, one of the two. And I think being a business owner is the hardest thing to do in this country. You take your money, hopefully not your mother's money, but you take your money and you invest in an idea, which is essentially investing in yourself. But if you do it solely to make money, you're going to lose. And you really have to do it. And I know that a lot of people out there get up every morning and they hustle, and they're driving in the car right now and they're on their way to a job that they may not love. Yeah. And I would encourage them just to stick to the grind. Get the paycheck, pay the bills, learn. And too many young kids out of college tell me they're entrepreneurs, and I tell them you can't be an entrepreneur until you've worked for somebody else and you know what it feels like to be fired, or to be called on the mat, or to be harassed, or to be mismanaged. You got to know what that feels like so that when you're on the other side, you can be respectful to people. Yeah.
People, process.
Product.
People, product. Process.
People, process, and product.
People. How about you tell it? It's your mission statement.
So I've kind of grown up on this people, process, and product motto, and I think you can go into any business. I can come into your business right here.
Okay.
I know that you're good people.
How?
That's because
My
I've been
eyes?
spending time with you, and
Okay.
you're vulnerable and you're honest with me. You're laughing. We know that you have a great product because think about how many people listen to it. The process is a little questionable because you let someone like me come on, and so that makes it questionable. But you can go into any business. So on your way home tonight, if you're stopping into your dry cleaner, you're stopping at the gas station, think about it. Is the product that they're selling relevant? Are the people that you met at that business, did they treat you with respect? Were they nice?
Right.
And was it kind of jacked up how you got your gas? Like, did it not work? And were things right? And was the place clean? You can do that really at any business. And so people think that what I do is special. It's honestly not.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with the ability to maybe look a little deeper.
Yeah.
But I think anybody could do it.
You're too soft, though, I would say.
I am.
You're too soft with some of those business owners because you
am.
run across some jerks. You cut them the check, like the guy who had the sign business.
Yep.
I forget his name. And
I'll tell you why
he was
soft.
Nasty with you.
He was nasty with me, but I'll tell you why I'm soft. A lot of kids watch my show.
Okay.
And a lot of kids know what I do. And so the primary reason that I did the show was to make investments, to save businesses, to do all that, to make money, to do all that. But I really believe that I have a responsibility to teach people some lessons.
Yes.
And when we, I don't know if you were a church-going person, but when I went to church, to go to church, we have parables, right?
Yes.
There's stories about things. And so I really look at the episodes, while they happen to be factual, there's a story. How not to treat people, how to treat people, how to think about your employees and your customers,